Steve and Arabella are almost out of the snow and cold, but not quite yet. T-shirt weather awaits when Arabella finally arrives in St. Augustine, Florida.
Well, hopefully Jack gets out today. His flight got canceled 2 days in a row. But thankfully he has some distant relatives in the area, so he's hanging out with them, and fingers crossed, has a flight out of Savannah today. And then Jeff flies in tomorrow, and he and I are gonna see if we can finally get out of this cold. So today is a provisioning run. We're tied up at Hilton Head, and I came here because that's where Jack got his flight out of. And there's an airport here, and it's not difficult to get from here via an Uber, public transport, to Savannah. So it made a lot of sense for Jeff flying in as well. So just decided Hilton Head was the stop. I did not realize how fancy Hilton Head is. So it's nothing but gated communities and golf courses here. I stick out like a sore thumb. It's a $20 Uber ride to get to the store. Diesel's $5 a gallon. So I'm doing the almost 4-mile walk to the grocery store. I'll get some provisions and I'll pay the $20 for the Uber ride back, but trying to save as many pennies as we can, because this is turning out to be a really expensive stop. I didn't really mind paying for the dock here at Hilton Head because it comes with water, showers, laundry, but unfortunately with this cold, all of that is turned off. So I am not getting any of those amenities. So it's kind of a bummer. It's been an expensive stop just to be tied up to a dock, but c'est la vie, so it is. Yeah, I can keep trudging in this snow. Normally I would stick a thumb out and see if I can get a ride, but I don't see that happening here. It's wild that they don't do anything for snow removal here. I mean, I get it. It happens once every 7 years and you wait for it to melt, but the New Englander in me is like, guys, you gotta clean this up. It's gonna be here all winter. What are you doing? Get your sidewalks clear. Where are the people gonna walk? But, you know, they just deal with it for a few days. Jack is flying out and Jeff is flying in. I guess that means I should get the rest of this snow and ice off the deck. I've been taking the South Carolina approach of waiting for it to melt. And it's mostly melting, but not where it's in the shade.
Since the next leg of the trip would take Arabella about 20 miles offshore, it was time to move the 45-pound anchor and chain from the stern back to their normal spot on the bowsprit. The stern setup was useful more than once along the narrower passages of the ICW.
So this line here is tied around the Samson post. And I tie it to the last link of the chain. And this way, if the chain goes overboard for some reason, this should buy us a little time to figure out what is going on and remedy the situation. And it is long enough that if for some reason we were anchored and we needed to just drop the anchor and go, this will reach up on deck. So you could just let out all the chain and you could just cut this line. Zip ties mark the halfway mark, so this 1/4-inch chain is 100 feet and it's marked at 50. In the next few days, Jeff and I should be able to make the run straight to St. Augustine. It's going to be a lot of light wind sailing. The temps look great. The sea state looks great. Forecast is looking good. It seems too good to be true. I'm waiting for the hammer to drop, the shoe to drop, however you want to phrase it. I'm trying to be hopeful, but I've been so hopeful for so long, and those hopes have just kept getting dashed that there's a part of me that's just like, nah, it's gonna snow in Augustine. St. Augustine, get ready. Winter's coming. We're bringing it to you. I hope that's not true. God, I hope that's not true. Filling up the water tank. There's our bubble. Got a ways to go.
One of the last things to take care of was something to keep the Coast Guard a bit happier and make Arabella's name easier to read from a distance. Jeff had arrived that afternoon, and they got everything ready for an early morning departure the next day. And as Steve always does with new crew before setting out, even experienced sailors, they had a safety briefing and a rundown of the rigging and systems before settling in for the night.
All right, I'm getting ready to take off. Do the shore power plug. Jeff's fighting with frozen lines. Since we're against the current, if I just pull the stern in a little bit and stick the bow out, it'll just start to walk out.
This is gonna make it in the movie.
Well, it's nice running out with the current.
Oh my God, it's beautiful.
7 knots.
Doing 7 knots?
Yeah, we've been like solid 7 to even 7.5 at times with this current going out. Saying we're gonna be in St. Augustine at like 3 or 4 in the morning. But we're gonna slow down. We'll be there like in the afternoon.
I imagine, yeah.
Yeah, we're not gonna do 7 knots the whole way. Not with these conditions. So we're heading out towards the Atlantic, and this big old boy is coming in. And this is where AIS is really nice, because if we scroll up a bit, here he is coming down the channel. So it is MSC Antonia. Come up here to AIS vessel. And we can learn that it is a cargo ship carrying dangerous goods, harmful substances, or marine pollutants. It's a hazard or pollutant category C. It is 304 meters long by 40 meters wide with a max draft of 30.5 feet. Nearest approach for us and them is 0.3 nautical miles, and time is almost 7 minutes. Really handy. It's certainly not necessary, but especially at night, being able to see some lights in the distance and see how big of a ship that is, and what way they're heading, and if you're on a collision course, and how long until you're on a collision course. So here's that cargo ship, and he's going to stay in the channel, and we have plenty of water, so we are just going to stay outside of the channel and cross across his stern. We could cross now and try to get across real quick, but we would be crossing in front of this beast doing 15 knots, and since we've got total control, I see no reason why we don't stay out here outside the channel. Plenty deep for us, not deep enough for him, and we'll cut across his stern and get out of the channel. Yeah, it's not small. Well, I suppose we should do a watch schedule, eh?
Sure.
All right. So you've been going a while. Do you want me to tag in now and take the 11 to 3, or do you just want to keep rocking it until 3?
I can go till 3. I don't mind. Let you catch up on your book.
Catch up on the book. I have not been able to sit in the cockpit and read yet. Like, conditions have
today-
not allowed.
So between 11 and 3 today, you get to read a book.
All right, and then I'll take the 3 to 7. And then you get the 7 to 11.
7 to 11. It's a good shift.
And then I'll get 11 to 3.
Oh boy, that's a bad,
That's kind of the worst one.
that's the worst shift.
That's the worst shift.
Good boy. Ah. They're everywhere. Wow.
Go up to the bow. Go up to the bow.
Good boy, Akiva. Good boy. don't think the footage is very good, but it's about 1:45 in the morning. We're off of St. Mary's, Georgia, give or take. We've just been motoring. We've got 6 knots of wind, which is not enough to really do anything with. But thankfully the sea state is really, really calm and the temperatures aren't bad. I'm pretty bundled up. I'm still using the cockpit sleeping bag, but I don't have gloves on. I'm not cold. These are much more comfortable temps. Been sitting out here the last little bit and watching the coastline slip away and thinking about the boathouse and Joe and Randy and Grandpa and Aaron and just everybody that came and worked and helped make all this possible. I think if you went back in time and told 12-year-old Steve that someday you'd be sailing this wooden boat that he built in January off the coast of Georgia on his way south, trying to run away from the cold, I don't know if I would have believed you that that would be my future. And here we are. Well, we're getting close. I think it's time to put our fishing gear away. So I've got this Acorn line here, and on the end of it is a run on a filament and a fishing lure, and it's velcroed up to the dodger. So if a fish strikes, it should just pop the velcro, and the spool will start running. I've got some leather gloves, but this is the first time that I felt it was warm enough to mess around with fish. So we've been towing this since we left and haven't even gotten a nibble. Time for some food.
You got the hat. You got the right hat.
Got the right hat. So nice to be warm.
Steve had an appointment at the boatyard for a haul out to get the bottom repainted, but it would mean waiting around for a few days in St. Augustine. Not the worst place to enjoy blue skies and warm temperatures at a nice quiet anchorage.
There's an osprey on the mizzen.
But also, Steve needs your help with a couple of things that he'll go into more detail on next week, as well as give an update on the plan for the rest of the winter. Thank you for watching, and if you like what you see and you want more of it, we hope you'll consider supporting us on Patreon. Check the video description for a link and help us keep the channel going. Thanks so much to our Patreon members for making all of this possible. And something else that you can go and watch right now are 2 new videos from our friends Scott and Ann. Scott is launching his own building channel and has posted his first video, and Ann shares her time on Arabella from back in Charleston on her channel From Pine to Palm. Go and give him some love.